Hi guys, welcome back to my read along channel. I'm so sorry it's been a while. Just been trying to get back to work with a busy schedule. It's all going on basically. But I'm here back again with another book by Jacqueline Wilson. I know I said I was going to try and find the first Tracy Beaker, which I know I definitely have, just can't find it. So in the meantime, whilst I have a look for it, I found The Bed and Breakfast Star by Jacqueline Wilson. So this one does have chapters in it. They're not numbered, it's just names, but I will put a number on them so we know where we are. I'll also try and put page numbers on as well, but I'm not the best at remembering. So this is all Jacqueline Wilson's own work. I'm just reading it for entertainment and pleasure. This is The Bed and Breakfast Star. Let's get going, guys, when I find the page. So, here we go. The first chapter is called Bed. Did you know what everyone calls me now? Bed and breakfast. That's what all the kids yell after me in the playground. Even the teachers do it. Well, they don't say it to my face, but I've heard them. Oh yes, that Elsa, she's one of the bed and breakfast children. Honestly, it sounds like I've got a duvet for a dress, cornflakes for curls and two fried egg eyes and streaky bacon smile. I don't look a bit like that. Well, I hope I don't. I'm Elsa. Do you like my name? I hope you do like it, or Elsa will get upset. Did you get the joke? I made it up myself. I'm always cracking jokes. People don't often laugh though. I bet you don't know anyone else called Elsa. There was just this lion called Elsa ages ago. There was a book written about her, and they made a film. They sometimes show it on the television, so maybe you've seen it. My mum called me out after Elsa the lion. I was a very tiny baby, smaller than all the others in my hospital. But I was born with lots of hair. Really, most babies are almost bald. But I had this long tufty hair and my mum used to brush it so that it stood out all around my head like a lion's mane. I didn't just look like a lion, I sounded like one too. I might have very tiny little lungs, but I had the loudest voice. I bawled day and night and wore the nurses out, let alone my mum. She says she could have left me yelling in my hospital cot and slipped out of it without me. She was joking. Mum jokes aren't always funny though, not like mine. That was my very first bed. There's a picture of her in the baby cot. It's not very comfy looking, is it? No wonder I bawled. Here's my second bed, and there's a picture of a little baby bed that's comfy. I used to pretend I was a real lion in a cage. I didn't half roar. We've still got my old duck cot. We've left lots of our other things, but we've always carted that around with us. I used to turn it into a playhouse or a car, and once it was even my castle. But then my sister Pippa was born, and I lost a house and a car and a castle, and she gained a bed. I gave it a good spring clean for her and tried to make it as pretty as possible. But I don't think she really appreciated it. Pippa did a lot more sleeping and a lot less yelling than me. She's not a baby now. She's nearly 5. Half my age. She's not half my size though. She's not a little titch like me. She'll catch me up soon if I don't watch out. I've also got a brother, Hank. Hank the Hunk. He had the duck cot too. He only fitted it for 5 minutes. I'm tiny and Pippa is tall, but Hank is enormous. He's not just long, he's very wide too. He's still not much more than a baby, but if you pick him up, you practically need a crane, and if you put him on your lap, you get severely squashed. If you stand in his way when he comes crawling by, then you're likely to get steamrollered. Pippa and Hank aren't my proper sister and brother, they're halves. That sounds silly, doesn't it? As if they should look like this, and then there's a picture of them halved. We've all got the same mum, our mum, but I've got a different dad. My dad never really lived with mum and me. He did come and see me sometimes when I was little. He took me to the zoo to see the real lions. I can remember it vividly though. Mum says I was only about 2 then. I liked seeing those lions. My dad held me up to see them. They roared at me and I roared back. I think I maybe went on roaring a bit too long and loud. My dad didn't come back after that. Mum said we didn't care. We were better off without him. Just Mum and me. That was fine. But then Mum met Mac. Mac the Smack. That's not a joke. He really does smack, especially me. You're not supposed to smack children. In lots of countries, smacking is against the law, and if you hit a child, you get sent to prison. I wish I lived in one of those countries. Mac smacks a lot. He doesn't smack Pippa properly. He just gives her little taps, and he doesn't smack Hank because even Mac doesn't hit babies. But he doesn't half whack me. Well, he doesn't always smack, but he lifts his hand as if he's going to, or he hisses out of the side of his mouth. Are you asking for a good smacking, Elsa? What sort of question is that, eh? As if I'd prance up to him and say, Hey, Uncle Mac, can I have a socking great smack, please? Mum always sticks up for me, but sometimes she says I'm asking for it too. She says I give Mac a lot of cheek. I don't. I just try out a few jokes on him, that's all, and he doesn't ever get them because he's thick. Thick, thick, thick as a brick. I don't know why my mum had to marry him, and guess who got to be the bridesmaid at their wedding? Mum wanted me to wear a proper long frilly bridesmaid frock, but it looked ever so silly on me. My hair still sticks out all over the place like a lion's mane, and my legs are so skinny my socks always wrinkle, and sometimes they always get dirty marks all over them, and my shoes go all scuffed at the toes right from when they were new. The bridesmaids' frocks in the top were all pale pink and pale blue and pale peach and pale lilac. Mum sighed and said I'd get my frock filthy before she'd had time to get up and down the aisle. So we forgot about the frock, and Mum dressed me up in this little black velvet jacket and tartan kilt because Mac is Scottish. I even had a sprig of lucky Scottish heather pinned to my jacket. I felt like I needed a bit of luck. Mac moved in with Mum and me after the wedding. After I grew out of the duck cot, I used to share the big bed with Mum, and that was fun because there was always someone to chat to and cuddle. That was my third bed. But then Mac got to share the big bed with Mum, and I had a little camp bed in the living room, bed number 4, and I kept falling out of it every time I turned over at first, but I didn't mind that camp bed. I played camping, but it was really too cramped to play camp. We only had a little flat, and Mac took up so much space. There certainly wasn't going to be room for a new baby too. That was Pippa. She wasn't born then. She was just a pipsqueak in Mum's tummy. Mum had our name down for bigger council flat, but the waiting list was so long it looked like we'd be waiting forever. Then one of Mac's mates up in Scotland offered him a new job up there, so he went back to Scotland and we had to go too. We stayed with Mac's mum. I was scared. I thought she might be like Mac. But she wasn't big, she was little. She didn't smack. She wasn't half strict all the time. I wasn't allowed to do anything in her house. I couldn't even play properly. She wouldn't let me get all my toys out at once. She said I had to play with them one at a time. So I started playing with some other of her stuff. She had some lovely things, ornaments and photo albums and musical boxes. I didn't break anything at all, but she went spare. You're no allowed to go raking through my things. Away and watch the television like a good wee bairn. That's all you were supposed to do in her house, watch the telly. We watched it all the time. My Scottish sort of gran wasn't so bad though. She did pass the sweets round while we were watching her telly. She called them sweeties. Are you wanted a sweetie, hen? She'd say to me. And I'd go cluck cluck and flap my arms, and she'd laugh and say I could be awful comic when I wanted. On Sundays we had special sweeties, a homemade fudge she called tablet. Oh, that tablet, yum yum yum. I could eat tablet all day long. I didn't eat much else at my sort of gran's. She said I was a poor wee bairn who needed fattening up, but she kept giving me plates of mince and tatties. I don't like mince because it looks as if someone has already chewed it. And I don't like mashed potatoes because I'm always scared there's going to be a lump. So I didn't eat much, and she got cross with me, and Mum got cross with me, and Mac got cross with me. The worst bit about living there was the bed. Bed number 5. Only it wasn't my bed, it was my sort of gran's. I had to share it with her. There wasn't a room in her bedroom for my camp bed, you see, and she said she wasn't having it cluttering up her lounge. She liked it when I stopped cluttering up the place too. She said she was always wanting to whisk me away to bed early. I was genuinely still awake when she came in. I used to peep when she took her corset off. She wasn't so little when those corsets were off. She took up a lot of the bed once she was in it. Sometimes I'd end up clutching the edge and hanging on for dear life. And another thing, she snored. We were meant to be looking for our own place in Scotland, but we never found one. Then my sister Pippa got born, and Mac fell out with his pal and lost his job. Mum got ever so worried. She didn't get on very well with my sort of gran, and it got worse after Pippa was born. Excuse me, guys. So we moved back down south and said we were homeless. Mum got even more worried. Sorry, guys. She thought we'd be put in a bed and breakfast hotel. She said she'd never live it down. Little did she know, you don't have to live it down. You can live it up. But we didn't get put in a bed and breakfast hotel then. We were offered this flat on a big estate. It was a bit grotty, but Mac said he'd fix it up so it would look like a palace. So we moved in. It was a pretty weirdo place, if you would ask me. There was a green mould on the walls and creepy crawlies in the kitchen. Mac tried slapping a bit of paint about, but it didn't make much difference. Mum got ever so depressed, and Mac got cross. Pippa kept getting coughs and colds and snuffling because of the damp. I was okay though. My camp bed collapsed, once and for all, so I got to have a new bed. Bed number 6. It had springs and it made the most wonderful trampoline. I had lots of fun in those flats. I didn't want to leave, but Mac got this new job and started to make a lot of money, and he said he'd buy Mum her own proper house, and Mum was over the moon. I thought it was great once we moved into the new house. I liked that house ever so much. It wasn't damp, it was warm and cosy, and when Pippa and I got up, we could run about in our pyjamas without getting a bit cold. Pippa stopped being a boring old baby and started to play properly. She shared my new bed now, but I didn't really mind that much because she liked my stories and she actually laughed at my jokes. We kept getting the giggles late at night when we were supposed to be asleep, but Mum didn't often get cross and Mac didn't even smack anymore. Hank the Hunk got born and he was happy too, but we didn't live happily ever after. Mac's job finished. He got another for a bit, but it didn't pay nearly so well, and then he lost that one. He couldn't get another. Mum worked in a supermarket while Mac looked after Pippa and Hank. I could look after myself. But Mum's money wouldn't pay all the bills, so it would pay for the lovely new house. So some of our people had come and took nearly all our things away. We had to leave our new house. I cried. So did Pippa and Hank. Mum cried too. Mac didn't cry, but he looked as if he might. We thought we'd have to go back to the mouldy flat, but they'd put another family in there. There wasn't any room for us. So I guess where we ended up, in a bed and breakfast hotel. And that's where I'm going to stop it there, guys. That's quite a long chapter, actually. So the next chapter will be called Bed and Breakfast, and that's on page 23. We've gone from page... Well, it starts on page 5, but to me that's page 1. So thank you again for listening. Sorry it's been such a while. Really appreciate all of the views that I'm getting. Not so much to most, but to me that's quite a lot. So thank you again. Really appreciate it. And until the next time, guys. Goodbye.